Welcome back to Practical English Studio, the podcast where we explore the language and skills you need to thrive in the modern workplace. I'm your host, Chris. In our last episode, we delved into the concept of interoception, our ability to sense our internal bodily states. Today, we're taking that idea a step further. We're talking about emotional intelligence, or EQ. And to guide us through this crucial topic, I'm thrilled to welcome wellness consultant and EQ expert, Jessica. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here. And mentioning interoception is the perfect starting point.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, emotional intelligence begins with awareness. And that awareness starts with those physical signals your body sends you, the tight chest of anxiety, the warmth of excitement. These aren't just feelings, they're data. The foundational idea of EQ, which stands for emotional quotient meaning the measure of a particular characteristic, is learning how to read, understand, and use that data effectively.
Emotions as data. I love that framing. It takes them out of this mystical, uncontrollable realm and turns them into something practical.
Exactly. They're information. And in any business environment, leaders who ignore information are at a serious disadvantage.
So, when we talk about EQ as a field, many people have heard the term, but they might not know the theories behind it. Could you walk us through some of the key models without it sounding like a university lecture?
Of course. The academic groundwork was really laid by two researchers, Meyer and Solovey. They defined EQ as a set of 4 abilities. First, perceiving emotions in yourself and others. Second, using emotions to facilitate thought. Third, understanding emotions, knowing what causes them and how they change. And fourth, managing emotions to achieve specific goals.
Right? So it's a progression. You have to see it before you can use it, understand it, and then manage it.
Precisely. Then Daniel Goleman came along and popularized the concept in his book, Emotional Intelligence. He broke it down into 5 components that are very business-friendly: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills.
He's the one who really brought it into the mainstream, especially in leadership circles.
Absolutely. Goleman made it accessible. There are other models, too, like Reuven Bar-On's, which views EQ more as a set of traits and abilities related to well-being. But the core message across all these models is the same. Emotions are not the enemy of rational thought. They are a critical component of it. You cannot make a truly rational decision without emotional data.
That's a powerful statement. I think many people operate under the assumption that to be professional, you must suppress emotion.
It's a huge misconception. Suppression is not management. Ignoring the data doesn't make it go away. It just means you're making decisions with incomplete information.
This brings us to a very practical element. For our listeners, especially those learning English, how can they start using this emotional data in a tangible way?
A great starting point is a practice I call the art of naming. It's about developing a more nuanced and precise vocabulary for your emotions. It's moving beyond a simple, I feel good or I feel bad. When you can label an emotion accurately, you gain power over it. It's the difference between seeing a blurry shape in the distance and recognizing it as a specific object.
I see. So let's practice this. We've compiled a list of useful and sometimes tricky emotional words. Let's start with frustrated.
Great one. Frustration is the feeling of being blocked or held back from a goal. Think about trying to fix a software bug, and every solution you try fails. You know what you want to achieve, but something is stopping you. That's frustration.
Okay. How is that different from feeling overwhelmed?
Overwhelmed is about quantity. It's the feeling that you have too much to handle. Your inbox has 200 unread emails, you have 3 project deadlines, and your phone keeps ringing. Frustration is about a blockage. Being overwhelmed is about being submerged.
That's a fantastic distinction. Next, how about discouraged?
Discouraged is a loss of confidence or enthusiasm.
It often follows repeated frustration or failure. You've applied for 10 jobs and haven't gotten an interview. You start to lose hope. That's feeling discouraged.
All right, let's shift to the positive side. Enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic is an intense feeling of eager enjoyment and interest. You've just been assigned to a project you're truly passionate about. You can't wait to start. It's more active and energized than just being happy.
Okay, a more complex one now. What about feeling invisible?
This is a common feeling in the workplace. Feeling invisible means you believe your contributions or even your presence are not being seen or acknowledged. You might share a great idea in a meeting, and everyone just moves on as if you didn't speak.
And on edge?
To be on edge means you're tense, nervous, and easily irritated. You're anticipating something bad might happen. It's that feeling you get when you're waiting for important, potentially negative feedback from your boss.
Let's talk about resentful.
Resentment is a bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly. A colleague takes credit for your work and gets a promotion because of it. The anger you feel about that injustice is resentment. It often lingers for a long time.
That's a heavy one. How about vulnerable? Many people see this as a pure weakness.
And it's not. Vulnerable means you're in a state of emotional exposure, susceptible to being hurt. But it's also the birthplace of trust and connection. Admitting to your team, I don't know the answer, I need help, is an act of vulnerability that can build incredible strength.
Beautifully put. Let's do two more. The feeling of being appreciated.
Appreciated is the feeling that your value and contributions are recognized and understood. It's more than just a thank you. It's when your manager says, the way you handled that difficult client was exceptional. Your patience made all the difference. It's specific and acknowledges your worth.
And finally, a very common but confusing state, ambivalent.
Ambivalence is having mixed or contradictory feelings about something or someone. You get offered a promotion, you're enthusiastic about the new responsibilities, but you're also overwhelmed by the increased workload. You feel two competing things at once. That's ambivalence. It's not indifference, it's a conflict of feelings.
That's a great list. The nuance is so important. Let's tackle a classic pair that often gets confused, jealousy and envy.
An excellent and crucial distinction. Jealousy is the fear of losing something you already have to someone else. For instance, you feel jealous when a new coworker seems to be getting all of your manager's attention, and you're worried about losing your position or status. Envy, on the other hand, is wanting something that someone else has. You might envy that same coworker's natural public speaking ability. Jealousy is a triangle. You, another person, and the thing you might lose. Envy is a duo. You and the person who has what you want.
So, having this precise vocabulary is clearly a powerful personal skill. How does this ability to name and understand emotions scale up to an entire team or organization?
It scales dramatically. Research, particularly from Barbara Fredrickson, shows that positive emotions like enthusiasm, appreciation, and interest actually broaden our cognitive abilities. They make us more creative and better at problem solving.
And I assume the opposite is true for negative emotions?
Exactly. Stress, frustration, and fear create tunnel vision. Your focus narrows to the perceived threat, and you lose sight of the bigger picture. But there's a flip side. Naming those specific negative emotions, recognizing I feel resentful instead of just I feel bad, can act as a diagnostic tool. It helps you pinpoint exactly what is wrong in your environment. A workplace culture that fosters these negative emotions is actively making its employees less effective. And this leads to the idea of emotional contagion.
That sounds infectious.
It is. Emotions, especially from a leader, spread like a virus through a team. Research shows a leader's mood can affect 50 to 70% of the team's climate. A leader who is constantly on edge and resentful will create a team that is also on edge and resentful. But a leader who demonstrates calm and appreciation can foster that in their team as well.
Which must be why the concept of psychological safety is so critical.
It's the foundation of it all. Psychological safety is the shared belief that the team is safe for interpersonal risk-taking. It's feeling safe enough to be vulnerable, to say, I made a mistake, or I disagree, without fear of punishment or humiliation. Without it, you get silence. And in business, silence is deadly. It all proves the famous quote by Peter Drucker, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast." Your brilliant business plan means nothing if your team culture is toxic.
Jessica, this has been incredibly insightful. To wrap everything up, can you give our listeners a simple, memorable process they can use to start practicing this skill today?
Absolutely. I use a 5-step process. First, recognize the feeling in your body. That's the interoception we started with. Second, name it with precision. Don't just say bad, say discouraged or on edge. Third, tolerate the feeling. Don't immediately react or suppress it. Just sit with it for a moment. Fourth, regulate. Decide on a constructive course of action. What does this emotion tell you that you need? And finally, express your feeling appropriately.
Recognize, name, tolerate, regulate, and express. Simple, but so powerful. So for our listeners, the challenge for this week is this. When you feel a strong emotion, pause and try to give it a specific name. Use the words we discussed today. See how that simple act of naming changes your relationship with the feeling. Jessica, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
It was my absolute pleasure, Chris.
And for everyone listening, be sure to join us next time on Practical English Studio, where we'll be exploring our next topic, how emotions shape our interactions, enhancing communication skills. Until then, thanks for tuning in.